In this video we're going to look at merging cookbooks or creating a new cookbook from recipes in several other cookbooks. So let's start by merging two cookbooks together. So the first thing we'll do is come to the bottom of the recipe browser and click on the Show Cookbooks button, and we see the current cookbook list. Now we've only got one cookbook in there, so we're going to need to go into the cookbook library by selecting that at the bottom and open the second cookbook. So now we have both of those cookbooks open. So let's exit the cookbook library. Now what we need to do is to reorder the recipe list. So we've scrolled across here and I swiped across on my Apple mouse. But as you can see, you could also scroll across from the bottom here. So let's scroll that across. And on this header that says cookbook, click on that, and I've now resorted the recipes by the cookbook they're in. So select the first recipe there in the Great British Kitchen Cookbook, scroll the list up, press Shift, select, and I've now highlighted all 36 recipes in that cookbook. Now let's go up to the recipes menu, select that, and now I'm going to move those 36 recipes to the Recipe Manager Sampler book. And it's going to just do that, take a few seconds to move those across. And once it's done, you'll then notice that the cookbook changes here. All of these recipes are now in the Recipe Manager Sampler cookbook. But we can check that. Let's scroll back across there. Open the cookbook library, and now you'll see the Recipe Manager Sampler has 236 recipes and the Great British Kitchen Cookbook has none. So we can close that cookbook, and in fact we can delete it because we now have just the one cookbook. And it's that easy to merge a couple of cookbooks together. Now let's have a look at creating a cookbook from recipes in multiple cookbooks. So I want to create a favourites cookbook. So the first thing I would do is go into the cookbook library by selecting Enter Cookbook Library at the bottom. Select to add a new cookbook, and let's call it my favourite cookbook, and select Save, and you can see that's open, as well as these other cookbooks that I'm going to take recipes from. So exit the cookbook library. Now what I've been doing is marking recipes as my favourite recipes, and I want to add one more to this, so I'm going to search for a pad thai recipe, which I've selected there. Select the modify recipe, go to the classifications tab, let's scroll this down a couple, and then select favourite and save. Now you'll see the benefit of that, because I'm going to now select the advanced search option, and I'm going to search for every recipe I've given that classification of favourite. Let me just show you something quite cool here, that I can stretch this up and down so I can see more options to search on. Well, favourite was there, so let's tick that and now select search. And now I have all of the recipes that I've marked as my favourite. Now what I'm going to do is shift and select all of the recipes in that recipe list, and then control select on that list. And I've got this option here of copy 30 recipes to cookbook, and select my favourite cookbook. And now what we're going to do is take a copy of those and put them all in that new cookbook. So the recipes will still be there in their existing cookbooks, as you can see there now here that I have two recipes the same. Now we can have a look at what I've just done. Let's go into the cookbook library and close all of these other cookbooks. So all I have left now is my favourite cookbook. Exit the cookbook library. Let's clear that search. Go back to the recipe view. And these are all the recipes now in this new My Favourites cookbook.